Hello, this is History Shorts with the Artifactual Scholar. Today, I'll be talking about early civil rights icon Elizabeth Jennings. Most of us are familiar with the story of Rosa Parks, who, in December 1955, refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery, Alabama bus. Her arrest sparked the Montgomery bus boycott and launched the modern civil rights movement. 100 years earlier, another pioneer stood up for her rights and initiated a push for desegregation. On a Sunday in July 1854, Elizabeth Jennings, an African-American schoolteacher in New York City, was making her way to church, where she played the organ and led the choir. Since she was running late, she decided to board a streetcar operated by the Third Avenue Railroad Company. At that time, public transportation in New York City was run by private companies that operated horse-drawn streetcars. The Third Avenue Railroad Company, like the others in the city, maintained separate streetcars for white and black passengers, though the ones for people of color ran infrequently. Due to this, African Americans were often permitted, at the discretion of the driver and conductor, to ride on the general streetcars. Yet on that July day, the conductor attempted to prevent Jennings from riding aboard his streetcar, telling her to wait for the one of the colored cars that was just a short way behind. Jennings refused to leave, stating that she was a respectable, decent person. When the conductor tried to physically remove her from the car, Jennings resisted. Eventually, however, she was thrown out of the car by the conductor and driver. But Jennings refused to concede. Gathering her scattered belongings, wiping blood and filth from her face, Jennings leapt back onto the streetcar. The conductor, surprised and angry, ordered the driver to drive the car fast to the nearest police officer. After a reckless half-mile journey, the conductor spotted a police officer and flagged him down, and with his assistance, forcibly ejected Jennings from the car. Bruised, with her hat smashed and dress soiled, Jennings returned home. This incident may well have been forgotten, except for the fact that Jennings was very well connected to a prosperous, activist African-American community in New York City. Her father, Thomas Jennings, a successful tailor who had developed and patented a dry cleaning method, was a leading figure in free black society. News of the incident on the Third Avenue Railroad soon spread. The day after the incident, a rally was held at Jennings' church. In a vocal, lively show of unity and empowerment, the gathering determined that further action should be taken. In response to her forced removal, and with the support of her community, Elizabeth Jennings sued the streetcar company. Representing her was a young lawyer named Chester Arthur. During the trial in 1855 before the Brooklyn Circuit Court, Arthur argued that the rail company, through the actions of their conductor, was liable for any harm and damages, and the jury agreed, awarding Jennings $225 plus $22.50 in costs. More importantly, the decision caused the Third Avenue Railroad Company to desegregate their streetcars and established a precedent that African Americans could not be excluded from public transportation. Over the subsequent decade, legal action against other streetcar companies led to the full desegregation of New York City public transportation. In the aftermath of the trial, Jennings returned to regular daily life. In 1860, she married Charles Graham. He died in 1867, yet Elizabeth continued to teach, eventually establishing the first kindergarten for African American children in New York. Her father, Thomas, was one of the founders of the Legal Rights Association, an early civil rights organization in New York. Attorney Chester Arthur made his way through the ranks of New York state politics, eventually winning the vice presidency of the United States in 1880 and ascending to the presidency in 1881. Elizabeth Jennings stood firm for her rights and her dignity. Though her story was eventually overshadowed by other civil rights activists, her legacy was groundbreaking and significant. Today she is remembered as being a pioneer in the struggle for civil rights and equality in the United States. This has been History Shorts. Thanks for watching.